All right. Well, hello, everyone. And thank you for tuning in to Poets and Quants' online MBA panel. Today, we're talking about the student's experience at ESMT Berlin. I'm your host, Christy Bleiseffer with Poets and Quants. And please feel free to use the Q&A function to submit any questions you have for our panelists. I'll do my best to get to those at the end of the session. And I want to welcome our two guests today. Thank you for taking the time. And we're just dive right in with Catherine. Do you want to start by introducing yourself, your school, mission, values, reputation, that kind of thing?
No problem. Thank you, Christy. Yes, so my name is Catherine Hauke. I am the admissions manager, especially for the Global Online MBA that ESMT Berlin is offering. And so the mission of ESMT Berlin, which is, of course, like name suggests, located in Berlin, is to develop entrepreneurial leaders who think globally and responsibly. So our values reflect that mission, being community, curiosity, courage, and rigor. And we especially focus in all of our programs on leadership, innovation, and analytics. We have a range of different programs on offer. So there is a full-time MBA on campus, there is a part-time MBA, executive MBA, the Global Online MBA, and a few different management master degrees, as well as executive education as well.
Very good. Well, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about the program, kind of focusing on flexibility in the pacing, emphasis placed on group work versus individual, that kind of thing.
Yes, no problem. So the Global Online MBA is quite special because it is a broadly set up MBA. So it is about general management, but with particular focus on, as I've mentioned, the technology, leadership, innovation. And so it is a part-time degree, which can be studied somewhere from between 2 years up to 5 years. So the flexibility really comes into in between the different modules that are covered. So there are 7 different modules that will be studied, and students can, as they wish, pause them. And so if they have anything coming up in their job while they are working, maybe they have family commitments. So if anything comes and takes priorities, so they can actually pause their studies to be able to really fit everything in that the modern life throws at everyone. And so it is 100% online, so that's why it is set up for a really global audience. Anyone from anywhere in the world can study it. There's at no point any must be at the campus, but students can actually choose. One of the electives is actually one of the gemstones of the program is the Berlin Experience Week, where the whole cohort can come together and meet face to face, put faces to names. And we had one already, and it was a big success. And everyone was like, they've known each other for so many months, and are really happy to see each other after the online studies. And each module is really special because it focuses on different facets of business life. So how, for example, how to make good decisions, how to be the best leader, what is the organization, how to be smartest about the organization of the business, marketing, of course, and also a lot about analytics. So people need to be basically aware that math and being able to deal with numbers is, of course, a big part of the degree as well.
All right. Well, thanks so much. And hello, Margaret. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name is Margaret Nokun. I'm actually chemist by training, so I obtained my PhD in 2012, and now I'm working for 10 years now. And so actually my decision to pursue an MBA was like, my background is very technical, right? So I know about production environment. I know I've worked in R&D and all that stuff, but I was always interested also in the business part of my job. So, and I always felt there's something missing. And I did a lot of trainings, like in my company, but also at some other, organizations. And still, for me, it was not enough. I think everyone who is working knows you go to a training, you come with a lot of ideas, and then you sink back into your daily life, and somehow it's gone, and you're back into the reality. And I was thinking about an MBA for a longer time already, but somehow there was not a possibility to combine it with my job. And so I think when I started looking for a possibility to do a MBA, I stumbled across the ESMT, and with this global online program, it really opened up more possibilities for me to combine it with my job and my personal life. And I already knew ESMT from some other trainings before, and I knew about the quality of the lectures and the training. So for me, actually, it was not a big choice between schools. So yeah. So, and I'm right now, since May last year, I'm in this program, and I don't regret it until now.
Very good. Catherine, what would you say is, a key differentiator for the program?
Well, what I guess sets ESMT apart is, it's one of the few schools that is triple accredited. So we have the backing to, that shows the quality of our programs and of the school. And what makes the program special is, of course, the learning platform, for example, that was specifically designed to make sure that the online learning that is taking place is very engaging, is very much up to speed with how people want to work now, and not just consume their education, but actually actively be involved, have really lean in and learn from each other. It's not just about, of course, our high-class faculty that they learn from. It's really about learning from your whole cohort. Everyone brings so much rich experience from their location where they're at, from the background, from the jobs that they're doing. And so it's very much about networking and learning of each other. And that's what our platform really enables and heightens. Of course, the flexibility is a great plus, having the opportunity to keep your job and study while still being a parent, while still having a good paying job, or whatever it might be that keeps you busy in your life at the moment. You don't have to put it on hold. You can actually continue with that, as well as invest in yourself. And of course, the network is in itself a really good key feature that you gain from our Global Online MBA, because it is people from all over the world, and it is people that have are usually on average in their mid-30s, on average have about 11 years of experience. So there is a lot that everyone brings to the table to learn from. And as I've already mentioned, the experience weeks are really the gem in the program. Everyone loves them because it is a way to see the campus, see the school, meet with faculty, come into groups together, of course, have your social gatherings at night, see Berlin, especially for anyone who hasn't been to Germany or Berlin. It's a great way of getting to know the place and the culture and what it's like to do business in Berlin. So all of these are real big plus points.
Yeah, absolutely. Margaret, what's the learning experience been like? What's the course load? Is there a lot of emphasis on individual or group work? And which course surprised you the most?
Yeah, so in general, the workload is estimated to be about 15 hours per week. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but in general, that's quite a good estimate. And because the program is so flexible, for me personally, I try to slice it in smaller packages, and sometimes even it's possible to do an hour in your lunch break if you have a time. So I think the 15 hours are quite well manageable. And I would say the ratio between individual work and group work is like maybe 60% individual and 40 group work. So in each module we have like a learning group, and so you stick with these 4 or 5 people throughout the course, and we have always group assignments and individual assignments. And for the group assignments, for example, right now with my group, I have a group call each week. And so we have a fixed point when we discuss assignments, and then we have a lot of, channels, I don't know, some with phones, chats, emails. So we discuss questions like via different channels, because right now I have a group, we are lucky because we are more or less in the same time zone, but other groups have obviously other challenges because we have to align, but I never had a problem until now. And this is also, this enrichment this program gives you and offers you, because this is super interesting to discuss, for example, ethical questions with somebody based in a completely different country with a different background. And this is what makes it really interesting. And also when it comes to, the biggest surprise until now, for example, we have a module business ethics, and I wasn't really aware that this is going to be a part of an MBA, and I find it super interesting to discuss ethical questions, especially in such a diverse group, because, for example, we take one example of one group member and then discuss it, together, and suddenly complete new ideas come up, and this is really the learning. And then that, because we are all in our jobs on a daily basis, so we can take back our learnings and apply them immediately, kind of in reality. So yeah, this is what makes it for me especially so special.
Yeah, absolutely. Catherine, do you want to explain a little bit more how students kind of connect and keep in touch and network and whatnot in an online setting?
Yes, of course. That is sometimes a question that we get that is a bit of a worry for some people, because of course, many people want to study an MBA because of the network that they want to create. And so the question is, how do we do that online? And Margareta already mentioned that there is a lot of group work. So we have purposefully designed the course that there is group work in each of the courses integrated, so that there is a lot of overlap, and it's not just about watching videos, or which is of course also part of the degree, but it's a lot about discussions, and it's about learning groups. It's about doing presentations together, also maybe doing like a video, or you might be graded on actually contributing to a group discussion. There's also, from program management, they try to be encouraging things like a latte lotto, for example, which are like little small online gatherings. And we've heard of the classes also among themselves building groups, maybe on WhatsApp or wherever it might be, and groups finding each other who happen to live close to each other. And so they, whenever they travel, they say, oh, I'm here in this region, in the city. Are you here as well? Let's catch up for a coffee. So it happens naturally, but also it is encouraged throughout the program and from program management.
Yeah. Margaret, what's your work-life balance like? How do you manage it? And what advice do you give other prospective students?
I must say I manage it pretty well, I must say, because I was aware of the 15 hours, right? And sometimes you have to spend a Sunday working on your stuff. This is the core of it, right? And because, as I mentioned already, your flexibility is quite high, so you have to plan your week. And this is an advice I can give to everyone starting such a program in parallel, just to have more or less know when your assignments are due, plan your week, and then just keep up with the work, because until now I haven't fallen behind, because it's quite manageable. Sometimes we have little breaks over Christmas and maybe there's some chance to catch up, but usually if you don't stay more or less at the same pace as the majority of a class, you miss maybe also some opportunities for discussions with the others. And if you're too fast, you don't have anyone to discuss with. And if you're too late, the discussion is already over. So actually my recommendation is to more or less to keep the pace with the others, to have someone to connect with and to discuss with. And I must say I got used to this constant learning almost every day, a little bit or a little more, quite fast. And right now lately I was thinking, so what I'm gonna do when I'm done with this MBA. So yeah, I mean, it's like back studying. Sometimes it's annoying and you're less motivated, but most of the times when I start and I deep into the content, it's a lot of fun. And when I think back, if I would do it again, yes, right now still I would do it again. So it's manageable, yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that there are lessons that you learn that you can take back to work almost immediately?
Yeah, definitely. So for example, right now we have a module about different bias. And actually, I mean, I knew about different biases, but there are so many different ones. And you kind of, because, in the evening, I watched a video, I discussed with my peers, and then I go back to work and then I think, oh, this could be this bias and this bias. Or for example, analyzing data, right? I mean, I'm a scientist, I analyzed a lot of data in my life, but still, even for me, there's new stuff in the material. And right now I ask myself, oh, okay, lately you analyze this data. Maybe you have a look again at the data if this was correct, or with your new learnings, would you have another view on the data, right? So and all the examples we have in the course material, they are always from real life. And this is also something I enjoy really a lot, because they are always examples which I can really relate to. And this makes it so comprehensible for me, at least. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, interesting. And then what would you, excuse me, what would you say are kind of, maybe the biggest hallmarks of the experience, something that is going to have the greatest impact or be most memorable for you?
I must say there are two main factors for me right now. So I was really afraid about this global part of this MBA, because as Kaskan already said, and you asked, I mean, how was the interaction with my peers? And I must say that I really don't have a feeling that we are online class. I have my group of my closer peers, which I sometimes text to if I need some motivation. And I don't think I will see them. Most of them I will meet at this Berlin Experience Week in 2 months. And I have a feeling it's going to be like we know each other for a year right now. And also, I think this is really a big surprise for me, because I have not imagined that it's going to be so close, even though we are quite far apart. And the second thing is definitely the content. There was some lectures where we played, for example, some simulations with the whole class. And this was, in some cases, such a, intensive experience that I think that's going to be something that I won't forget for a very long time. And sometimes you have some aha effects when learning. And I don't know, I have already a couple of those, and many, and I think these are the things which you or I, at least I remember those things quite for a long time. And I guess the third thing is going to be this Berlin Experience Week. We are all super excited to go to Berlin and meet each other, and also have some fun and enjoy ourselves. I mean, this is also a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't ignore the fun on going to a city like Berlin, for sure. Catherine, do you want to kind of tell us about what the application program process looks like?
Absolutely, yes. So it is an admissions process that happens on a rolling basis. So people can apply already now for the next intake, which is happening at the end of May. And we have altogether 3 intakes. The January intake has just had their orientation today. Then the May intake, and then we will have a September intake as well. And so applications are open for May at the moment. And what people will need to gather for the application is, of course, their updated CV, so that we can see that they have at least 3 years of postgraduate experience. We will need their university transcripts, so that we can see that they have studied at least an undergrad degree of a minimum of 3 years. And what usually is asked by other schools is the GMAT or GRE kind of like a business test. For the Global Online MBA, that is an optional component. If it really would be asked for, because maybe the admissions committee sees a little bit of a gray area in that point, that we might ask our applicants to complete our own version of that kind of tests, which is the business admissions test. And of course, as all of our programs are completely in English, we need to make sure that people have the English language skills to be able to be good students and communicate well. So that might be through your common English language tests, or people that can prove that they have studied completely in English or have at least worked a whole year in a company that is completely run in English. There's also an essay that people need to write, a little video essay to kind of present themselves. And as part of the whole admissions process, we put a lot of emphasis on the admissions interview, where we really want to try to get to know the applicant and make sure that they are a good fit for our program. As you've heard, it is a very tight-knit community that forms. So a good fit is very important, but also, of course, making sure that we are a good fit for the applicant and making sure that our program actually ticks all the boxes for the applicant. And so it can be somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks between submitting an application to actually knowing whether you will be offered enrollment. So it goes quite fast.
Yeah, very good. Well, we have a few more minutes here. So if you maybe, Catherine, want to kind of, summarize any other points we didn't get to, any insights about career outcomes after the program, and then, how do students get in touch with you or learn more, and where can they go for information?
Yes, for sure. So our program is still a little bit new. So we are currently still in the first cohort is still about in the middle of their program. So we have our first graduation actually at the end of this year. And then we can, of course, then we will have data about where it will take our students afterwards. But what we see at the moment is that we have people study the Global Online MBA who want to take their current career and just uplift it to that next level. And so I would imagine that that would probably be the data that we see, that people will just hopefully gain those promotions that they're looking for, maybe jumping from middle management to a higher step. So that will be hopefully what we see after the graduation. But to get in touch and to learn more and to have us maybe look over the CVs and just the individual cases of anyone who's interested, they can get in touch with us via email, which is the best way, which is admissions.degrees@esmt.org. All the information that we talked about is also on our website. It's a fantastic resource. Everything about tuition, about the admission steps, about the content of the program, everything is on there as well. And people can find lots of videos as well from students directly, from their voice. So there's a good resource there.
Well, very good. And I want to thank both of you for joining us today and giving you your wonderful insights. I also want to thank all our viewers for your time and attention. And please, if you have any questions, you can follow up directly with the school from their website. You can also find a lot of information about other online MBA programs in panels such as these on our YouTube page or at poetsandquants.com. Again, I've been your host, Christy Bleiseffer, and until next time, goodbye.